Welcome to Bears in Exile. Today is Friday, July the 6th, and this is the weekend market overview. Looking at the Dow, SPX, VIX, TNA, UUP, FXE, GLD, SLV, and all the rest. And, hey, today was a good day on the market for the Bears. Dropping 124 on the Dow. And last night we were talking about how the 60 minutes looked pretty bad, and which would be likely that there would be some downside. The daily did not look poor. It looked interesting. Beyond that, I guess we'll just get into it. Alright, last night we had the fat body spinning top on the Dow. We did not have a down tick. We did have excessive separation in the short-term moving averages, and we had a few things ticking down, the CCI, the RSI, and nothing else. Well, the 60-minute won out, and the bad jobs number was, of course, a huge driver, since everything is news-driven nowadays. But anyway, it was a nice day. It's certainly well off of the lows. And it is very interesting that we did have a downtick today, and the downtick was resolved intraday. And we didn't close below it. So we're supposed to wait and see which direction it wants to go next. And the daily now looks poor. CCI down, RSI down, stochastics down, 14-day RSI moving average at a peak. Down on the histogram, down on the MACD. Total change from last night, which is great. Beyond that, we can see that it also has kissed the long-term moving average bar, bounced off. So the bulls are not finished yet, and you could easily have news willing a reversal off of this now that you have a bubble corrective move finished, and that is what it is. 60-minute time frame. With such a huge move to the downside, what about the 60? Well, the charts have traded places. The daily chart now looks very questionable. The 60-minute does not. We have a intraday. We had a little bit of a bottoming signal in the heat map. Still have the 14-day RSI moving average going down. Still have the RSI heading down. Still have the MACD pointing down, but you have the CCI picking up, you have the stochastics picking up, and we have the MACD histogram sloping up. So this does not look bad to me in the daily time frame. It looks like it needs a reset, which would be the stochastics going either way to the 14-day moving average or to the top, and then turning around to join it on the return voyage home to the downside, which does line up with the daily chart. So that is what it is. A little more to the upside would be fine. All that's really important is that the high is not taken out on the Dow. SPX, more of the same. I'll just go over the differences and the most important parts. All of the indicators going down, except for the 14-day RSI moving average going sideways. We have the downtick today. The downtick was resolved intraday, so now we have to see what it wants to do next. And I don't think the 60-minute is any different. Nope, it's the same. No need to rehash. Moving right along to the VIX. Now here's one of the reasons why I think that those crazy bulls might have a card up their sleeve. The VIX was down huge today. It's bearish engulfing. We had the uptick yesterday. It obviously was not impressed. This should have been up really nice based on the market action today. It was not. You have a down day on the VIX. You have a down day on the SPX and the Dow. Somebody is lying. We do have the 14-day RSI moving average flattened out at the bottom. The stochastics attempting to curl. Not very convincing. Sideways on the CCI, sideways on the RSI, slightly up on the MACD histogram, slightly down on the MACD itself. This should be up, and it is not. There's something wrong with this picture. And we could have another down day on Monday, in which case hopefully this will correct itself and then some. But I don't trust those sneaky bulls when the VIX is doing this. So something to be extremely aware of. And conversely, 60-minute time frame, does it... Yeah, this thing had a big down day. Should it need some time to cool off as well? Well, slanting down on the histogram, down on the MACD, down on the RSI, down on the CCI, down on the stochastics, and only up on the 14-day RSI moving average. This looks poor in the 60-minute time frame, unlike the Dow, unlike SPX, and another reason why I don't trust the bulls. At the moment, because I'm not a bull. Don't trust them to roll over just yet. Volume returns on Monday. It'll be very interesting to see what this does. TNA down $2, ending with a small, very stunted hanging man. We finally have a downtick. Downtick gives us a target of 52.50 roundabout. Nice little drop from where it is at the moment. We have 4 days for that to accomplish itself. Very green in the heat map warning sign. 14-day RSI moving average slight tick up, slightly down on the stochastics, down on the CCI, down on the RSI, down on the histogram, up on the MACD. This one is not nearly as bad as the Dow or SPX, which could imply some strength on Monday. Another reason why I'm not counting the bulls out. And since this one didn't take such a hit, what does its 60-minute look like? Well, take a look. Yeah, it's very similar to the Dow and SPX. Looks like it's going up for a corrective move in the 60-minute time frame. Histogram sloping up, RSI sloping up, stochastic sloping up, CCI sloping up. We do have the MACD and the 14-day RSI moving average headed down. This is more bullish in the short term than bearish. So maybe we'll get a gap fill as long as the top is not taken out. It's okay for the bears. But yeah, it's not that far away. Not really. UUP. This one's incredible. Last night we were talking about this possible sloping line here, closing above it. It certainly looks like that's for real, because it was questionable last night. Very strong day on the dollar. Huge. And it looks like it's in the middle between the line and the current ceiling, but it's actually closer to the ceiling than it is the trend line, or the support line, I should say. A little bit of green in the heat map. CCI very high, stochastics moving up, 14-day RSI moving average moving up, RSI moving up, histogram moving up, and MACD going for a bullish cross. This has all kinds of room to move to the upside from their present positions, so it would seem like, it would appear that a test of the top and a break of the top is very likely. However, this move is very extreme. I wouldn't be surprised whatsoever if it comes down for a test of the support line, but it is closer to the top, so very interesting. FXE, the euro. This is awesome. Awesome for the bears. Had the what would be a resistance line now, closing below it, and closing way below the lower Bollinger Band. That's a little bit of a warning sign to me. The euro has taken quite a beating, and it should move to the side or up to get back inside. A retest of the resistance line is more than appropriate. We have the 14-day RSI moving average ticking down, CCI down, stochastics down, RSI down, histogram down, MACD down, bearish cross. However, we do have a little bit of a warning area in the heat map. It's not bright red, but if it keeps going down, it'll be there fast. But we do have a new low. So at the very least, even if it bounces, it should be retested. So there it is. XOI oil. They say the world is slowing down, and not good for oil. We had a downtick today. Gives us a target of about 1147, 1148. A little bit to the downside from here. It did not resolve it intraday. Ended with a spinning top. We had some warning signs in the heat map. Down on the CCI, down on the stochastics, sideways on the RSI, very high. Down on the regular RSI, down on the histogram, up on the MACD. A little more mixed than everything else, but still slightly more bearish than bullish. It would have been a much larger question mark if that downtick had resolved itself intraday, but it didn't. And going right along to Apple. Apple had a pretty good day, only down $4, holding above the 600 level. We do not have a downtick. Nope. We do have excessive separation, but no downtick. Ending with a hanging man. It's not at the top of a range. We do have still some warning signs in the heat map. Down on the CCI, down on the fast stochastic, not the slow. Sideways on the 14-day RSI moving average, holding high through all of this. Down on the RSI, up on the histogram, up on the MACD. Not a bad looking chart. CompQ, the NASDAQ. Yeah, down almost 39 points. Giving us a fat body hanging man. Got a downtick today. The downtick came close, but it didn't quite do it. 29.20 is the target. Down on the CCI, down on the stochastics, sideways on the RSI, 14-day RSI moving average, down on the RSI, down on the histogram, and up on the MACD. This is also not as bad as the Dow or SPX. It is following the same game as TNA. Both of these lead. So, another reason why not to count out the bulls just yet. So, and GE. Ooh, look at that. Had that downtick on Tuesday, and we gave out the target at that time. Target was met today, only 2 days into the 4 days needed for a downtick to resolve itself. Ending with a fat body spinning top. It has worked the problems out of its heat map. 14-day RSI moving average going sideways high. Down on the CCI, down on the stochastics, down on the RSI, down on the histogram, down on the MACD. We do not have a bearish cross yet. But downtick is resolved. We have to see what it wants to do next. If it wants to go down for a bar retest, it's fine with me. But we shall see. Not a great looking chart, but we do have to see what it wants to do next. And GLD. Dollar getting stronger, and supposedly fear is decreasing. So yeah, the gold should get rocked. Ending with a hammer today, closing above the lower price consensus level. A little bit of a bullish sign. 14-day RSI moving average moving on down along with the stochastics, the CCI, the RSI, the histogram, and the MACD. Overall a bad looking chart. We do have a little bit of a warning area creeping in with the heat map, but nothing major or spectacular yet. And SLV. Yep, a little bit worse than gold. Closing below the lower price consensus level for the month. It's a very small hammer. Nothing really special in the heat map. A little bit of orange coming in. Down on the 14-day RSI moving average, down on the stochastics, down on the CCI, down on the RSI, down on the histogram, down on the MACD. An ugly looking chart. Still has a ways to go before it can test the previous low, which should be tested since it's a relatively new previous low. And moving on, XLF, the financials. Showing quite a bit of strength today, even though it gapped down. Nothing in the heat map. Down on the stochastics, sideways on the 14-day RSI moving average, down on the CCI, down on the RSI, down on the histogram, down on the MACD. Overall, a very questionable chart, but it does look different. And we also resolved the downtick target today, 1 day into its target, so that is fulfilled. We've got to see what it does next. Very, very important to see what the banks do, since they should be a tell on the overall market. JP Morgan, most important bank, closing once again below the major price consensus level. It still looks like a bar retest failure. Closing below the lower Bollinger Band and forming a doji star indecision candle. We do have some warning signs in the heat map. Nothing major yet, but it is there. Sideways on the 14-day RSI moving average, down on the stochastics, down on the CCI, down on the RSI, down on the histogram, and down on the MACD, looking for a bearish cross. This one's going to be very, very important. So indecision candle outside the lower Bollinger Band. Yes, this one can move to the side or move up to get back inside of it. Got to see what happens Monday. Very, very critical. Volume will return when the traders return, which is Monday. And anything else? Every night I ask, is there anything else? You think I would know this routine already? Yep, that's going to be it. So, maybe a little pop on Monday. Hopefully nothing too major. And hopefully the daily charts will win out before news can spank them back down. Or spank them back up. I guess it depends on how you look at it. As always, all investing decisions are your own. This chart and video are for entertainment, educational, and consumption of time purposes only. Thank you.